This is the direction they'll attack from, you think?
Yes. From there.
Then this is where we'll build our stage. I think we got enough stuff here to put on possibly the best rock show ever.
A show?
Hey man, where I'm from, this guitar makes noises. Here, it blows stuff up. So I can't wait to see what a full-on rock show does.
Have you ever looked at a heavy metal album cover and wished that you could experience that world? Have you ever wished you could listen to it while fighting demons? Tim Schafer heard your wishes and he delivered them, and he threw Jack Black into the mix as well. The result was Brutal Legend, a heavy metal-inspired action-adventure game with real-time strategy elements released for PS3 and Xbox 360 in October 2009. This project couldn't have come at a more opportune time, as both the film School of Rock and the massively popular Guitar Hero video game franchise helped bring heavy metal into the forefront of public consciousness. For a brief moment in the late 2000s, it was popular to be into bands your dad listened to. Like Guitar Hero, Brutal Legend's soundtrack featured a varied mix of guitar-centric subgenres. Popular mainstream bands like Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, and Motorhead would be featured alongside more niche bands like Brockus Helm or Cradle of Filth. It would be hard to make a game about heavy metal music without licensing a few songs, but the wizards at Double Fine made sure all their bases were covered when they licensed over 100 songs for this game.
I'm headed into the lair of the giant Spider Queen. Anybody got a problem with that?
Eddie Riggs, played by Jack Black, is the world's greatest roadie for the world's worst band. An incredibly skilled and well-organized manager, Eddie hides in the shadows, putting together massive rock shows for screaming crowds. A chance encounter with the legendary fire god sends Eddie traveling to another world, one that resembles all of the best album covers. Hot rods, demons, and giant flying shrimp leeches populate this rich, atmospheric world. Discovering that humanity has been enslaved by demons, Eddie helps organize an army to start a revolution. Lars Halford is the leader of the resistance, with his sister Lita and their friend Ophelia as the only other members. With Eddie managing the resistance, they're able to recruit fighters with different skills and abilities to join their army. Emperor Diviculus, voiced by Tim Curry, rules over the world with a sick leathery fist, while General Lionwhite serves under him as manager of the human race. There's an interesting story of liberation that's obvious and subtle at the same time. While the plot isn't hiding the fact that it's about an underdog rebellion fighting for freedom against tyrannical oppressors, it's presented in a way that ties it more to real-life struggles for liberation than the usual revolutions in pop culture which are vague about their beliefs. The first group Eddie helps liberate are the Headbangers, meaty-necked boys who bang their heads all day to mine for resources as slaves under General Lionwhite. The hierarchy is similar to that of any modern job, with the workers carrying out all of the labor, managers ensuring that the workers do their job or face consequences, and General Lionwhite as the faceless owner who stands to benefit from the unpaid labor of the Headbangers while contributing nothing himself. Diviculus purposely set up a hierarchical system that would keep the humans bickering among themselves, fighting over the meager scraps they're allowed, while the demons are safe to rule over them.
To set human against human. To let the uprising destroy itself. Again.
During the Headbanger Revolution, one of the characters mentions the workers forming a union to a bouncer, who becomes angry at the idea. The game isn't making any profound political statements, but little touches like this bring the fantasy world closer to our own. Many of the characters Eddie meets along his journey are based on and voiced by real musicians. The flamboyant General Lionwhite, a parody of 80s hair metal bands, is voiced by Rob Halford of Judas Priest. Halford also voices the Baron, an ally who appears later in the game and more closely resembles Halford's real persona than Lionwhite.
That's suicide!
Can we come?
Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead voices the Killmaster, a motorcycle-riding bass player who's able to revive fallen allies.
Hell of a bird you got there, Eddie.
Ozzy Osbourne takes on the role of the game's shopkeeper as the Guardian of Metal.
Well, it's about fucking time!
Possibly the most over-the-top character in the game, the Guardian sells Eddie upgrades while making sassy comments and elaborating on the world of Brutal Legend.
Did you know that this world was once ruled by an ancient race of titans? Now they were something. They took every part of that old fire beast. They took his blood, his fire, his steel flesh. They even took his scream. And they made that car there. And a million other things. Including music. Fucking beautiful music, man.
Other cameos include Richard Horvitz, who starred in Schafer's previous game Psychonauts, and Kyle Gass, Jack Black's partner in the band Tenacious D. During the marketing campaign leading up to Brutal Legend's release, Electronic Arts made a point to downplay the game's real-time strategy elements. Instead, the game was presented as a more straightforward hack-and-slash action-adventure game. While a lot of the game's campaign features Eddie going on missions and completing objectives, these missions serve to prepare the player for the game's battle maps. Each mission introduces a new move Eddie can use or a new ally Eddie can team up with. The objective of these missions involves using the newly introduced move or ally to solve a problem and advance the story. Eddie carries two weapons at all times, his battle axe, which acts as a melee weapon for close range attacks, and his guitar Clementine, which can summon lightning from a distance. Also at Eddie's disposal is the Deuce, a hot rod he assembles himself at the beginning of the game that can be upgraded in the Motor Forge. In between story missions, Eddie can explore and help people with their problems while also uncovering secrets of the world, learning how he fits into it, and finding the reason he was brought there. Various relics offer guitar tabs, which teach Eddie new moves he can use with his guitar. These moves open up a short Guitar Hero-inspired minigame where the player taps the controller buttons in rhythm to perform a guitar solo.
Alright, caravan time. You ready to die?
Jeez, man, I'm freaked out enough already. You have to talk like that?
Sorry, just trying to get you in the mood. For death. Which is waiting for us down the road. Let's hit it!
Oh, man.
The battle map features two stages, one for each of the opposing factions, and several resource geysers that can be claimed by either side. These geysers provide resources that help supply your army with the soldiers and weaponry necessary to win, so most battles boil down to claiming as many geysers as you can while sending troops to the enemy stage. Later battles add obstacles that require strategic thinking, or enemies will come from multiple areas, forcing you to divide your troops. Director Tim Schafer has said that the game was always supposed to be a real-time strategy game, inspired by the 1990 Sega Genesis game Herzog Zwei. As development proceeded, Schafer found that the action elements were a lot of fun and decided to shift the game's focus towards that, while still retaining the RTS battles. It's likely the developers hoped a strong online community would form around the game's multiplayer mode, which could justify the story mode feeling like an advanced tutorial. Double Fine released 2 packs of downloadable content which were meant to expand the game's multiplayer mode with new maps. Had the game been more successful, there might have been more DLC in the works.
No worries, guys. I got this. Don't get up, Death Block. I'm on it.
Let's do Bloods.
I'll have those cleaned and polished in no time.
See? No problem. Just fucking killed it, that's all.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Well, totally awesome.
That's pretty fucking metal.
It wouldn't be right to talk about Brutal Legend without mentioning the game's music. The game features 107 licensed songs from metal bands across the globe, including genres such as black metal, power metal, classic heavy metal, symphonic death metal, hard rock, and industrial. Bands like Black Sabbath, Quiet Riot, Judas Priest, Mastodon, Cradle of Filth, Slayer, and more fill the soundtrack with an authentic sound that would make any metal fan happy. Licensed songs pop in at perfect needle drop moments, such as Brockus Helm's Cry of the Banshee playing during the boss battle with the Metal Queen. The game also boasts a robust score composed by Peter McConnell featuring a full orchestra and a heavy metal band to seamlessly blend with the licensed music. McConnell previously collaborated with Tim Schafer on the soundtracks for Grim Fandango and Psychonauts. Judas Priest guitarists Glenn Tipton and KK Downing provided the guitar solos played by the characters in the game. To promote the game, a DLC music pack was released for the game Rock Band, which was also published by EA, featuring Motorhead, Tenacious D, and Testament. Despite a massive marketing campaign involving the game's star Jack Black centered on a October 13th release date, Brutal Legend was not a massive success for Electronic Arts. The game had only sold 250,000 copies across both Xbox 360 and PS3 during its first month of release, but was successful with critics and those who played it. Many players were confused and upset by the real-time strategy elements. More specifically, they felt they had been deceived by EA's marketing. 3 weeks before the game's launch, a demo was released that featured the first playable mission. No elements of the strategy side of the game were present, leading players to assume it was a hack-and-slash adventure game. Since its initial release, the game has gone on to become a cult classic. The sharp wit of the writing, mixed with Jack Black's personality and the fun gameplay of Double Fine, ensured this game would age well. In February 2013, 4 years after the game's launch on PS3 and Xbox 360, Brutal Legend would finally come to PC. Double Fine worked out a deal with EA that saw them receive complete ownership of the game, enabling them to release it on Steam with minor tweaks and bug fixes. The game is also available on Xbox One and Xbox Series X through backwards compatibility and is available to subscribers of Xbox Game Pass. Brutal Legend is a fantastic game with a rich, illustrious world to explore that too many people missed out on when it first came out. Some may be turned off by its seemingly overwhelming real-time strategy gameplay, but the game does a good enough job explaining how everything works that even newcomers to the genre should feel comfortable. While a sequel is unlikely, Brutal Legend will stand the test of time as one of the last great games of the 2000s, and a fitting conclusion to the Guitar Hero Rock Band craze that was petering out as Brutal Legend was released.
Dude, how about this? How about you take off your fucking diaper, lay down your little baby foo-foo, and go do your fucking job right now?
Dude, not cool. I wear this thing so I don't have to stop the bus to take a leak.